Why wasn't Travis Bazzana called up? We're talking about the Guardians today. Gabriel Arias landed on the injured reserve, the 10-day so far. He's in a lot of pain, according to Coach Vogt, with a hamstring issue. And we called up Juan Brito, and it makes me wonder why we weren't calling up Bazzana. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, give us a call, leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on the show, 216-260-3433. Noah, Bazzana is the top prospect for the Guardians, even above Chase DeLauder, who is currently in the show. So it begs the question, in this opportunity, in this span, why aren't we calling him up?
Well, does it really beg the question? Because I kind of understand the move from the Guardians' perspective, at least from my eyes, and why they did it. Bazana, yes, he had a great spring training. Brito has been just better in AAA through the first couple games that they've played. I think they're what 6, 7, 8 games into AAA, so it's not a big sample size, just like anything we talk about with the Guardians. But to give context, I mean, Juan Brito is no slouch of a prospect either. We traded Nolan Jones for him back in what was it, 2023, the first time we dealt Nolan Jones or whatever. We end up getting Juan Brito in. He was supposed to end up making it to the majors last year, had a thumb injury, ended up having to get surgery. And now here we are a year later. He's finally getting the nod. He was supposed to last year. So to me, it makes sense. He's batting better than Benzana right now when it comes statistically. And I can pull those up in a second if you want to see them, Eric. But to me, this early on, you want to continue to build Bazana's confidence down in Columbus and call him up a little bit later when the time calls for it.
I mean, both players have their injury concerns. I'll say that. Who doesn't on this Guardians team
Fair enough, right?
and prospects, it seems right now. I feel like this is a chance though, because it's not a call up where it's not likely that Brito's going to be up super long. He's not coming up to stay up. It gets you a taste of MLB action, and I feel like it's a good chance for Bazana to see some of those pitches. Now, I don't disagree. Like, I don't hate the move. We want to see it from Brito as well, but it makes me wonder, are we calling up Juan Brito knowing that Bazzana is likely the guy? He's the top prospect for us. We took him number one overall in the draft. He's the guy, right? Are we trying to get some sticks for Brito so that we can trade him?
Hey, maybe that's a question going on here too. The big difference between Brito and Bazana, right? Bazana has much more of a defensive profile than Brito does. When it comes to Brito, he is the Kyle Manzardo type. Just to make it easy for fellow Guards fans to understand, the plus side of Juan Brito's game is his ability to hit the baseball. The downside to Juan Brito's game is trying to field. At one point in time, he was thought to be a shortstop. He has now moved to second base. Maybe play some outfield to make him slot in and fit with our roster, maybe play some first base, even though there's a logjam there. And then on top of that, you bring in Reese Hoskins this year. So the more complete prospect in terms of both sides of the ball is 100% Travis Bazzana. But I also like the idea of bringing up a guy who's hitting well in the minors right now. And now he's hitting well in the majors as well. He had himself 2 hits, a single and a double in that win against the Kansas City Royals. That was down to the wire, might I add. Playoff Brian Rocchio reared his nasty head for some reason. Maybe it was the cold weather. I jest, of course. But Juan Brito did look good in his debut. And if we can add another potential bat, another bat that makes sense to this roster that can get hits, get people on base, and get us in the scoring positions, maybe having him and Bazana up here isn't a bad idea either.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder if they're calling him up because he's a switch hitter. Exactly like you said, though, this is a shortstop that transitioned to second because he has no arm power, which sounds crazy. Like it's shortstop, it's not that far across the diamond. So he is kind of a defensive liability. There's an argument that could be made that maybe you move him around, see where he fits, maybe even a right fielder kind of
Yeah.
situation, because we can always use outfielders, of course, but I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think I'm just more excited about Travis Bazzana. He is a left-hitting hitter. You get what I'm saying. He's a lefty, throws right though, and he is the guy of the future. He is really disciplined at the plate. He takes a lot of pitches and he doesn't really chase, which shows that he has a hitting maturity that I really like about him. And I think it's less about, I'm not hating on Brito, But we have one of the top prospects, and maybe you're right. Maybe it's too soon, and I'm just getting antsy here. But it wasn't too soon for Delauder. That's working out just fine. And by the way, when we talk about age, Travis Bazzana is only 1 year younger than Juan Brito. It's not like they're vastly different, and we're talking vastly different age ranges here. He's not a 19-year-old or anything like that. He is 23.
Comparing it to Chase the Lauder to me is a little bit of a stretch just because of the amount of times we heard Chase the Lauder was going to get called up here, and because of injuries and whatnot, it delayed him into what was his first call up in that playoff series, and now officially on the roster. Presumably for the rest of the year, with how hot he has started and barring injury or whatnot, how well he's played no matter what. Uh, you talk about Bazzana, and I don't want this video to turn into Bazzana versus Brito because they can both coexist on this roster. But you talk about Bazzana and his plate discipline. The same can be said about Brito. Bazzana has more power hitting ability than Brito. Brito's more of a contact guy. The way he gets yard is, following the lines and whatnot. But for Brito, he has great plate discipline too. I mean, I could pull up the statistics if I could find them real quick. He has 14% walk rate and a low swing and miss rate in terms of what he's done thus far in his minor league career. If he can translate his bat to the MLB, it's a great addition to a team that always needs more offense when you're talking about consistently always having to reload with young players.
Yeah, and that's where I'm coming from with Travis Bazzana. He's very similar to Bazzana. They're very similar players in how they approach the plate. Obviously, coming from the left side of the plate as well. I just I like it's gonna be interesting, right? We need bats, we know that, and we're really relying on young guys. We talked about this the other day. That said, when asked about the decision, Stephen Vogt was pretty straightforward about it. He said, "There's always thought, but we've been excited about Juan for a long time. This is about Juan Brito. Travis is going to help us win a lot of games, but this is Juan Brito's turn." That's an interesting statement, in my opinion. Travis Bazzana is going to help us win a lot of games. So it very much sounds like he's the future, but Juan is getting the trial right now.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. I think you could look at just what their minor league statistics look like so far. So I'll pull up Azana first. He has 33 at bats, 7 hits, 0 home runs, 212 average. He's batting pretty average. And when you're talking about AAA and being a top prospect and whatnot, you want to see above 300 all day. I think that is a very easy and fair line when you're talking about a guy the stature of Travis Bazzana. When you compare that to what Juan Brito has done, 35 at bats, 11 hits, 3.14 average. To me, it comes down to this. You just want to put the guy in there that's the hot hand so they can use the confidence they built in AAA in the majors to hopefully be a great launch point for them for the start of their career so they can stick in the majors, hit well, play well, and be a successful part of this roster. To me, giving Bazana some time doesn't hurt him whatsoever because we all know he's going to be up here this year eventually. Let him get his moment where he gets hot, he cranks a home run or two. That's when you call him up. That's when you give him the shot, as opposed to, oh, we have an injury. Arias pulled his hammy in a really cold weather game. Let's just call up Bazana because he's the top prospect. No, you call up the guy who's a little bit more ready, and not because Bazana isn't ready now, because I think he is ready now. I think he could come in and play meaningful at bats for this team. But Brito has kind of been in the pipeline a little bit longer in terms of his development. He was supposed to be a call up last year. He didn't do that because of the injury, like I said. It makes sense for an early injury related call up to give Brito his shot to potentially make it onto this roster for a long term position if he can continue to bat like he did in his first game, getting 2 hits.
Yeah, I mean, he's batting 500 right now. What do you think about the move of putting Rocchio at short and having Juan Brito at second?
I think it makes sense just with the shortcomings of Brito's game. I am a guilty pleasure Brian Rocchio fan just because of the moments that you get out of him, the clutch moments. I don't think you can create the clutch gene that Brian Rocchio has, especially in some of those playoff moments. We always joke about playoff Rocchio as a fan base or whatever. But you even saw it in yesterday's game against the Royals. He hit the walk off to win the game. So to me, having him over there, this is what makes this whole situation interesting to me. I think putting them at second and shortstop, respectively, makes 110% sense. What's interesting to me is I think this is an Arias versus Rocchio who's going to stick long term for when that Bazzana call comes. And right now, Arias kind of shot himself in his foot with the hamstring because Brian Rocchio is playing some damn good baseball as of the last couple days, and that's not making it look better for Arias in terms of Brito being in this. I almost said Delauder, Bazzana being in this, and then of course Rocchio. I mean, we have good prospects here, and one of them could pop. We'll see what happens when the time comes, but it's really interesting to me, and it's really not good for Arias that he got hurt when he did.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is he injured? Like, is he putting himself out of a job? He's batting 200 on the season so far, and though he was kind of finding his stride a little bit, getting a little hotter, obviously that error, is he a guy that could just be out of a job if Juan Brito takes off?
Maybe, which sucks because it feels like every time Arias gets in a good rhythm, right? Like he pulled his hamstring on a double, a really nice double, a much needed double in that game. The day before that, in the doubleheader, he hits a home run that was needed. He had some good plays throughout the Cubs series. And yes, I know there's the error from opening day that we've already talked about here on the page that is a defensive problem. But overall, it seemed like he was trending in a good direction. Now he's hurt. Now he has no way to put tape out there on the field, and he has another guy that could be gunning for his position playing right now. And of course, the number one prospect in our pipeline in Travis Bazzana, rearing up at the back and could be called up any day now because this is Bazzana's year for sure. So it could be putting him out of a job. Hopefully, for his sake, it's only the 10-day injury list like he is on right now when that news got announced earlier on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, I think part of what I want about Bazzana and calling him up, and maybe we have both of them up. Maybe it's Juan Brito and Bazzana. But I think what it is, I feel like our window is so narrow. Like we have an opportunity, in my opinion, we have an opportunity based on the play that I see so far to do something. And that window is narrow because pretty soon, if we don't take advantage, then that's when you see this Guardians team start trading players. It can never click all at once because this roster can't be maintained just because of payroll, because of ownership. And
Right.
that's where like I'm like, okay, let's go. Like I get it. We just drafted him. But he's showing real promise. I mean, real promise. He's our number one prospect. Let's see what happens, kind of thing. Because I just feel like the clock is ticking on any sort of opportunity.
And I get that 100%. As a fan, of course, I wanted it to be, I almost said Arias. Of course, I wanted it to be Bazzana as the call up because it's exciting. Everybody's going to tune in, watch. More people would have probably been at that 1 p.m. game if it was Bazzana's first one. Not to say Brito isn't a good prospect. I mean, he is one of our top 30 prospects. He is a top prospect in this organization, too. Don't forget that. But, the hype when it's the number one guy, it's the guy you took first overall not too long ago, is 100% there. As a fan, I get it. And you talk about this organization and ownership. And yes, we've dragged them through and through the mud and all of that before because of their lack of ability and the lack of want to spend money. But when it comes to developing prospects, putting them out on the field at the right time, I believe in this front office and this coaching staff's judgment to do so and when to do so. So, as much as I'm antsy too, Erik, and I get your perspective, I'm here saying patience is a virtue, and we need to just roll with that for a little bit because Bazzana's time is coming this season, and we're gonna 100% be extremely excited for it. But there's no reason it has to be 12 games into the season or whatever it is over an injury. Let it come when it makes the most sense for him. You want to treat him, you want to make that nest perfect for a guy the stature of Travis Bazzana.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like let's bring up Welbin Francisco, who's also a top prospect, but's in single A ball right now.
Fair.
So like I'm being pretty measured in my takes, I think, but no, that's a fair point. I want us to be able to do something and not break up these teams like we've seen in the past. Because we are a team, we're basically a farm system for the major league. Like we develop these prospects so well. And the moment, especially in pitching, that there's something they win one Cy Young or whatever, it's all right, let's ship them out to the Dodgers or the Yankees or whoever. And it's so frustrating.
Yeah, and to remind you too, we have the impending salary cap coming up. We have a new owner potentially coming up. So this could still all end up boding well for us as fans anyway, because there's going to be new rules, new changing of guards in place where we don't have to worry about that situation. And again, I 100% get your antsiness because I want to see Bazzana play. I haven't got to see him really play much baseball other than highlights and stuff you see on X because I haven't got to see him in any of the minors. Anytime I've gone, he's been hurt. So I'm with you in your antsiness, but remember, we still get control of Travis Bazzana for as much time, no matter when he's called up, because of how that whole structure works. So I'm not worried about all of that. I understand why you are, and eventually I probably will too if the Dolans continue owning this team if we don't get a salary cap and floor. But let's just wait. A little patience. May, June. He's going to be here. The stadium's going to be rocking. It'll be a $2 beer night, a dollar dog night. The fans will be going crazy, and I can't wait for it. But we can wait for it just a little bit longer.
I just want a ring, brother. The 2016 is still burning a hole in my heart, and you were too young, but 97 has a smaller hole in my heart as well. But from your lips to the big man's ears on those positive changes. On that note, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.